Okay, as you can tell, I have finished the flat piece for the Whisper Mitts. This is for what is the left hand on the pattern. If you are left-handed, this will actually be your right mitt, just so that you know that's the way it would work out. Now, I wanted to show you, before we worked on the thumb, how to seam this. Now, if you read the instructions, it says that you want to seam from the first row to the 25th row. So what I usually do to do this is I count up 25 rows, fold the piece in half, and then put a stitch marker in on through both sides so I know where that is. And then it says to skip 4 rows, which I did here, and then seam from that point all the way to the end. And what that does, I haven't seamed this yet, but what that does is that gives you the hole right here. You can see between the 2 stitch markers, that's where your thumb will come through. So what you're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and have you seam these 2 portions all the way to the top, leaving that section empty. You can choose whatever way you like to seam. If you like to whip stitch, you can do that. If you want to turn it inside out and slip stitch, you can do that. If you want to Kitchener it, you can Kitchener it. I'm going to go ahead and seam mine, and then I will come back and show you how to do the thumb. Okay, I finished seaming the side of my mitt, and you can see right here, this I have not woven in the ends, so you're going to see the ends hanging out. But here is the thumb hole that we are going to use, and I'm going to show you how to get that started. Now, you're going to make sure that the side that has the long row or the long seam is on the bottom, and the short seam is at the top, because that's the top of the mitt. This is the bottom of the mitt. So you want to start at the bottom of the mitt in the seam, and you want to go ahead and join with a single crochet, because we're going to use a single crochet all the way around to make your thumb opening. So we're going to start with a single crochet right there in that thumb opening, and then you are going to make 12 single crochets all the way around. So there's the first one. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 is right before the top of the seam for the short end, or right here is where the seam is. So number 6 is here, and then I'm going to do number 7 in that seam, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, oops, I didn't finish that stitch, 11, and 12. 12 ends right before the seam. It's up to you if you want to tuck those ends in that are here. I'm going to go ahead and do that because I like to seam all my ends on the inside. So I just go ahead and put the seam in there. Now, row 2 through 6 are exactly the same. You're just going to single crochet in each single crochet around. Now, I always mark the first single crochet of the row. So I'm going to grab a stitch marker here and put it in here, and I'm just going to, you're not going to join on this one because you don't want to seam, but you're going to go ahead in a spiral and just single crochet all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here, and I guess my end didn't go all the way in, so you'll probably see my end here coming around, but you can adjust. I used 6 rounds because I liked the way that looked on my hand when I did the thumb on the samples. But if you want a longer thumb, you can go more rows or rounds in this case, more rounds, or you can go fewer rounds if you just want to just kind of seal off or make the end or where your thumb comes out look really nice and neat. But all you want to do is you want to just go around. I'm going to just go around to the stitch marker here. it gets a little fiddly with holding it this direction. So if it takes you a little longer to get all the way around for 12 stitches, that's fine. You want to make sure as you're doing those single crochets that they're a little tighter than what you did here on the main body, but not so tight that you can't get your thumb through. So once you've done your 6 rounds or however many rounds you want to do, and you get to the final round, I'm not going to go all 6 rounds here, but you're going to just join with a slip stitch in the first one that's marked on the last round that you do, cut the yarn, and then weave in all the remaining ends. And then once you've done that, you have your mitt. So I'm going to pull my final sample here out here. And so you can see here, this is what the final thumb looks like with 6 rounds. And you can see it's joined here. You can't see any place where it actually has a seam. You just weave in those ends and they're done. So that's all there is to making these whisper mitts. I'm going to do one more video though for you to show you how to make the cable lean in the opposite direction. So instead of going this direction, it's going to go this direction. See you in the next video.